WGSN-DB Going Solo Network welcomes you to award-nominated relationship internet radio talk show, Going Solo with Cece. Host Cece Schatz is a speaker, author, blogger, and the leading transitional divorce and dating coach with My Friends Connect and Going Solo Next Step. Now, together, let's join Cece.
This is Cece with Going Solo. You're listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network, and I have with me today Dr. Kat. Dr. Kat, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, it's so nice to have you. Dr. Kat Smith, DHN, she's a motivational speaker and an empowering speaker, and she's from Dallas, Fort Worth area. And you really do a great deal with regards to, you're kind of a sex therapist, an empowering speaker, online dating and relationship sites. You really do help people move through, I think, some of the most difficult situations in their lives. You handle a great deal with trauma, helping individuals move forward in intimacy. So you are a sex therapist. So how did you get into this line of work, and what propelled you into doing this type of work?
Well, Cece, I'm actually a survivor of molestation and rape, and I decided that since I got through my experiences in a way that I can communicate and articulate how it feels to be violated and betrayed and abused, that I should be a voice for other women who couldn't do so. And so I decided to go into this industry and share my story and help others.
That's wonderful, because I find, and maybe you've felt this too, is that sometimes when we're helping other people, we actually in turn help ourselves. We grow from that, don't we?
Oh, yes, definitely. It's immeasurable. The reciprocal empathy that is shared when you can relate to someone else's pain or their discomfort or their experiences. And I think it fortifies my credentials in a way that, because I've been there and I know what someone would be feeling, that it just, makes people feel very comfortable speaking with me. And I've been told that I'm very easy to talk to. I mean, when you're sharing such intimate and private things with someone, you have to feel that they are easy to talk to, and they make you feel that it's okay, and you're embraced in a way that a lot of people may not understand.
Absolutely. And I thoroughly agree with that. I consider myself a transitional coach, helping people get through divorce recovery, transition into dating and relationships. And the reason I feel that that's so important is because divorce is just the element of what's happening to you. Once you get through the financial aspects of it, the legal aspects of it, what you're left with is trying to be able to pick yourself up and move on. And that's that transition time. So you're transitioning as you're going through all that rigmarole that you go through with the actual divorce. But what really is, I think, the most painful and the hardest thing is to pick yourself up afterwards and be able to move forward. And the reason I wanted to have you on the show is because you deal with people like this each and every day, people that are really down and cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, I help people transition into a healthier relationship, and they also have to heal in that transition. So within that, it's really a time when you can step back, look at what you didn't receive in the relationship, what you really need in a relationship moving forward, and maybe resolve some issues. So yeah, I think it's more than just a transition. It is a purging, and it's a growth period.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So often individuals feel like, okay, if I'm going to be able to move forward, I just need to start dating again. And I feel personally that that's not really quite what you need to do. I think that it is an important aspect that we do need to get back out there and meet people and immerse ourselves into a life again. But I also feel that there's steps along the way. And I think that you probably feel that too. So I just wondered if you wanted to share a little bit of what your aspect is moving forward. If you wanted to take someone kind of at the beginning of a very ending of a relationship that was a little bit traumatic for them, different steps that maybe they could do to be able to progress themselves forward.
Well, it's been shown, and I don't have specific numbers, that when you jump right into another relationship after one that may have ended in a traumatic way or not a very pleasant way, you use that person as your transition and you never end up with that person because they are helping you to move in a direction where you're not really dealing with your issues. Okay? So what I would say to someone who's newly single is to just step back, focus on yourself. What can you do to improve yourself? Not that you did anything wrong in the relationship, but use it as a time to really enhance yourself, enrich your own life, improve on something that you have always thought, I could do better here or somewhere else in your life. Whether it's getting back in shape or taking a class you've always wanted to take, just spend some quality time with yourself. I always tell my couples, when you know love for yourself, you can really attract love. If you develop a relationship with yourself, learn to love yourself first. You will radiate that love and that confidence and that self-worth, and you will attract someone who is in that same place. When you don't know love for yourself, or you're criticizing yourself and putting yourself down and not being able to accept compliments, you are telling yourself that you really don't love it. You don't trust yourself. You don't have that confidence and that self-worth. So if you take some time, and in that, I call it a love grieving period, just allow yourself to go through that time without someone else influencing your move forward. Allow yourself that.
Such good advice. That is so true. I'm so pleased that you said that, because it really does make a huge amount of difference for someone when they take that time to reflect upon themselves, really figure out where their joy is in life again, and appreciate themselves for who they are. Because so often we don't. I think that we get caught up sometimes in relationships and I have a lot of individuals that come out of long-term relationships, and you get so caught up of being together as a couple, you sometimes lose yourself. And when you then are faced with the fact that you are now alone with yourself, you don't quite know what to do. You don't know who you are or how to go about figuring it out. And I think you need that space of time.
I totally agree. I think we as women tend to do that more than men. Women feel that we have to change for the man in our lives. And it's not necessarily true. He fell in love with what you presented. Unless you are not being authentic in who you're presenting to that man when you first get with him, he fell in love with you or was interested in you, was attracted to you. So changing is not necessarily what he may want. And changing how? Are you not being authentic? You're not being true to yourself and you're changing just to please someone else? Or are you taking what you have to offer and making it a complementary thing to his life or her life? We got to look at, do you want to be molded and shaped into something else and be unhappy and being something else, trying to live up to what everybody else wants you to be? Or are you going to live joyously and be true to yourself and laugh and just be happy being you? That comes down to the question.
Right. Absolutely. I saw a movie the other day where the couple, they were married for a long time and they were starting to lose themselves, and they were going to be going on a vacation, and they didn't want to tell their children that they were going to be getting a divorce. So they decided they would go ahead and go on this vacation. I guess the one child's getting married or something like that. But anyhow, to make a long story short, they went on this vacation and they put on a front that they were okay. But as they progressed within the vacation, they started to see the person, how they were when they were not together, when they were first together. Then they started to have a better appreciation for that person, because they kind of got lost in the raising a family and doing all the things that you normally do just to get by. They forgot that person's really funny, or they have a good sense of humor, or little quirky things that you did love about that person a long time ago. So the reason I want to bring it up is, of course, I deal with a lot of individuals where their marriages are pretty much over. We do have some that are able to hang on and get some help and some therapy, and they're able to bring their marriages back together again. And hallelujah, I think that's absolutely wonderful. But those that have to move forward by themselves, I really think it's so important to get back in touch with who you are and what makes you happy and what makes you tick. Because as you said, Dr. Kat, to attract the person that you want into your life, you have to love yourself. You have to be okay with who you are. That's very, very important.
It is. It's at the core of what I teach. I'm trying at this point to re-educate men and women about the difference between intimacy and sex. I call myself an intimologist, intimacy expert, okay? And in all that I'm teaching and putting out there, I really focus on intimacy. Intimacy is the foundation for relationships. It's where you feel that connection. It's the trust, the care, the nurturing, the support, the respect, all of these wonderful things. I have a book called ABCs of Intimacy, and it goes from A to Z. What is included in this? I call it an intoxicating cocktail of intimacy. Once we feel truly connected to someone because we can trust them, we can talk to them, we feel bonded and belonging to them, we have respect, we have all these wonderful things that we share with them, and now we feel that connection. Because we've all experienced this. You meet someone, it's like hot and heavy, and you go to bed with them too early, and then you kind of like, oh my God, how do I get out of this? And you want to escape. So because there wasn't really that connection, it was just sex. Hey, that's fine. No judgment there. All I'm saying is when you really want a connection with someone, you look for the intimacy. Sex is 7 minutes of physical expression of desire, of lust, it could be love, but a lot of times it has nothing to do with that. So what do you do in your relationship that develops that connection? You got to think about that. Yeah, you got to sleep, you got to eat, you got to work, you got to do all this other stuff, because couples today are emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted because we're constantly connected with our devices and we have so much on our plates. But you have to be able to carve out time and invest. We invest in your relationship. We spend more time and are more dedicated to getting our nails done or watching our favorite sports team or a television show. We don't dedicate that same amount of time to our relationship. We don't say we have date nights on this night and nothing comes in between that.
That is so right. I deal a lot with, of course, the individuals that are transitioning into dating. And one of the things I tell the guys is that you have to have romance. Women need romance. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to be going out there dating, you have to be able to it's just not like you just call them up and you take them out and that's it. It's a dance. And you have to have that romantic dance with a woman. And a lot of the times the guys say, well, I don't know how to do that. I said, well, figure it out. You know how to do that.
Come on, you can get on the internet. There's tons of information. I mean, if you go to my website, I have programs. Right now I have 30 days of intimacy. You can go, it's a free program. Each day you will get some email about intimacy. So it encompasses romance, sex, and intimacy. So it's not just about sex, but it gives you all kinds of ideas for date nights, just different things to help you improve your relationship. So there's all kinds of stuff out there. So go to drkatsmith.com and sign up for the 30 Days of Intimacy program and start learning how to be romantic.
Right.
It's not just men that get it wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's women too. And okay, so women, we have to lighten up on men with, say, oh, they don't have a romantic bone in their body. Yes, some of them don't. But you got to understand, as little boys, they have been loved on and nurtured and stuff until they get a certain age. And then they're saying, oh, you're too big for that. Boys don't cry. You're a man now. And basically are trained to push away from expressing emotion. Okay. So then when they are finally getting this closeness and all of that wonderful feeling when you're being embraced, all of those love hormones are flowing through his body and feeling all this wonderful stuff, it's from a woman. And, sex follows that. So now his idea of intimacy is merged into sex because he gets that and then sex follows. So it's been a pattern. Intimacy, sex, intimacy, sex. So intimacy to him is sex. Now we have trained ourselves to believe that the only way I'm going to get the intimacy that I so desire as a woman, I have to be prepared to give sex because that follows. So now everybody's confused. Intimacy is not sex. Sex is only a small component of intimacy. And once we realize that the intimacy is really what we want in the relationship, then we can both understand. And I tell people, when you get my book, ABCs of Intimacy, read the book together and discuss these ingredients and understand where that person is and understanding what you need from a relationship. It's very important.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel, and I've been asked this many, many times, do you feel that women are a little bit too aggressive, that they don't allow men to be men?
I do. I said it's sad that women tend to think these days that being traditional is crazy. They don't want to do it. But I think men are still very traditional. They want to feel good about the woman they bring home. They want to be the man. If you are constantly going Dutch on every date, how is he really going to express himself as a man if you're constantly you put your credit card down or you grab the check and pay it, and he's going like, wow, my dad taught me to pay and she's grabbing the check. Okay. If you don't get a call back from that guy, that could be the reason. Or you don't let him open the door for you. Or you're this independent woman who says, I don't need a man, I want a man. Well, you can't have one without the other. You cannot, everybody wants to be wanted and needed. So if you want a man, you need for him to want you back. So vice versa, you cannot have one without the other. So all this independent woman crap, you know what? You are a human being. You want to feel loved and give love. You may not need him for financial reasons, but you need a man to balance out the male and female energy. Heterosexual men are attracted to women who are opposite him. He doesn't want a woman who is more like a man at home. He wants a woman that's going to allow him to be the man, be your protector, be your strength, your rock, your hardness. You're his softness, his nurturing, his caring. We got to balance that out and stop making men feel like they are not needed.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that wholeheartedly. So you're really great. And I think your book is awesome. So I definitely want to recommend that. ABC Intimacy. So definitely, we'll put that on the website too. So that way everyone can find it pretty easily and be able to get a copy of that. So I think it's very important that they read that. As you're moving forward and you're wanting to get out there and you start dating, a lot of individuals, they get to a roadblock and they don't really kind of know what to do. They go on these dating sites. There's like a smorgasbord, or they don't really know where to start. Do you have any recommendations for anyone that's starting out, going to look at going on any of these dating sites? Any tips at all you can give them?
Yeah, there's so many things you can do. Okay, make sure you have a really nice photograph of just you in the photograph that really shows your personality. Be authentic. Say what you like to do in your profile. Don't just say what you're looking for. Talk about what you're interested in. They're looking for male or female and age range. You can put all that in there. But, think about if you're being really strict about what you're looking for, you cut out a big chunk of opportunities out there. Also, be cautious. There's a lot of creeps out there who are putting up fake profiles, and it's just amazing how many times on the news you see someone got taken for some money because this guy wasn't really who he said he was online. They're sending money to these guys. Be careful. Don't get catfished. And fall into something that the person is really not who they are. And be safe on the end of, if you meet face to face, meet in a public place and only limit about 45 minutes for that initial meeting. That way you can see if there's any chemistry, and you can also see if there's any attraction. And you'll know, and you'll spend 45 minutes and then you'll be over it. And be honest with that person. Say, you know what, you're a nice guy, but I just don't think we clicked. And leave it at that. That way he doesn't know where you live. You've not wasted a bunch of money or a bunch of time, and you won't get stalked. Or you won't get hurt just showing up at someone's house. I don't care if he's promising dinner, let me cook you dinner, whatever. Don't go to someone's house that you don't know.
Right, absolutely. And don't invite him to your house too.
Yes.
Yeah, because a lot of ladies were telling me that they would invite them over, and then in their mind, a guy's mind, they think that's for sex, and they just wanted to have them come over for dinner. So it's like, okay, you got to make sure you're on the same wave level and make sure there's totally an understanding there. So what you're doing. You're listening to Dr. Kat. This is Cece with Going Solo. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. When we come back, Dr. Kat is going to answer some more of those great dating questions.
Hey world, this is your girl, Dr. MV, and I am your host for Singles Get Real, which airs every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is a show where we talk about being single, real questions, real answers, real stories, real people. If you have any questions regarding how to lead a successful single life, if you have concerns, whatever the case may be, this is the show to tune in to. I would inspire you and encourage you to send me your questions to drmvspeak@gmail.com. This show is hosted by WGSN-DB online radio, Going Solo After Dark people. You do not want to miss this show. Every week, we're talking about real topics that would inspire you to lead a successful single life.
Welcome back. This is Cece with Going Solo, and we have with us Dr. Kat. Dr. Kat is an intimacy specialist. She specializes in helping those to get real about their relationships. So welcome back, Dr. Kat. Let's head right back into some of those great dating questions. Let me ask you, because a lot of individuals that I deal with too also are coming from relationships where someone has stepped out on them, they've cheated on them. It's been very difficult for them to be able to go back, start their lives again. They keep reflecting back on that. There's been some abuse. Maybe not so much sexual, but verbal abuse. So they're really down, and it's hard for them to be able to start. Number one, they're trying to work on themselves, getting themselves back up a little bit and healed from that. But how do you, and how would you recommend them to be able to step out into dating again when someone's cheated on you and you've got that betrayal that you still have to deal with?
Well, the good thing about it, there's also a positive in that, is that you can remember some things to kind of trigger, like, hey, I've noticed this behavior in a past relationship, so I don't like this. Let me move away before your emotions get too tied into another relationship. After you've gone on your transition and you've healed, okay, you've given yourself some time to really focus on yourself. It's okay to get out there and start seeing other people. I always say, don't bring your baggage with you. Take just the good things about the relationship with you, the fun stuff. You can remember. You can forgive and remember. You don't have to forget things because you're also learning. If you've gone through that experience, that person crossed your path for a reason. What are you going to learn from that relationship? You learn to spot behavior that is a deal breaker for you. And you can just say, oh, no. Not calling back when they say they're going to call back, standing me up, not showing up until an hour later for date, not being reachable, all these different things that you may have experienced with that person. What are those habits or behaviors that are deal breakers for you? So now you can identify those and you can move away if you see that in someone else you start to date. And that will keep you from being hurt. Don't bring the bad baggage in to where you are not trusting and you're not just, always accusing the person, or you're just jealous or whatever. Don't bring that bad behavior into the next relationship. You should go into each relationship loving as passionately as you did in the last one.
Very good advice. Very good advice. Something that I tend to think about too when I'm experienced, because I was out there dating and experiencing a lot of these things. And sometimes I would get a little bit depressed. I was dating and then it wasn't really working out for me. And I would think, oh gosh, I can't believe, here I am. What's wrong with me? This type of thing. But then I started realizing as I continue to grow and doing a lot of self-analyzing and healing and all of that for my own personal self, what I realized that those individuals that I met, when I started to see that there was a problem, or maybe they weren't necessarily for me, there was certain aspects of that individual that I didn't really care for, and I decided I didn't want that in my life, then I realized that, you know what, then I'm being shown something. I'm being shown, number one, like you said, that there was a pattern that I'm selecting the wrong kind of man, attracted to the man that's not really suited for me. And then the other thing is I realized that I started to accept and understand what I really did want, because I think I didn't really know at the beginning. And when I'm talking to a lot of individuals out there that are doing the transition of dating, they really don't know what it is that they do want, and they're feeling their way. So I always tell them when they meet someone, it didn't work out, it's not that they're not going to meet someone, because they most certainly are going to meet someone. It's that they're on their journey, they're on their path to meet someone. And so whenever a relationship didn't work out for whatever reason, that you're just one step closer to meeting the right one.
I so agree with that last statement. Yes, yes, yes. Just think of it as checking off tick marks, It's like, oh, that one didn't work, I'm getting closer. It's like doing a walk, and you have to go so many miles to your goal, It's like, yeah, you got to go through quite a few guys to find that perfect one, or quite a few girls. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that. We're going to live years, so there's nothing wrong with meeting and getting to know lots of people. But it's like finding your favorite food. You've got to eat lots of dishes to say, oh my God, that is one of my favorite meals. We have to stop thinking that getting online and going through a bunch of pictures is going to land us the perfect man. We have to have face-to-face time. We have got to see what the chemistry. We're human beings for a reason. We have to interact with people. We have to be able to touch them and get a sense of what they are like in person. We can read all day long about what someone is like, but until we meet them face to face, we don't know if we're going to have that connection. I always say, pull back on the online dating thing for a minute and go do something you enjoy. Get on a sand volleyball team and play volleyball or baseball or softball or whatever. Go learn a cooking class or go to a different club. Go to the YMCA or YWCA. Go and do things that you love. People will see that in you, and you'll meet people with like interest, and you'll possibly meet someone that way. But you're enjoying your life. You're not trying to fit in a box online that will make you stand out from all the other people on there trying to meet someone. Go enjoy your life. Interact with people.
I love that. I really do, because I think that when you go out and you do stuff that you really enjoy doing, or you do something different you've never done before, there's a lot of an excitement that happens within you. And it's almost like you turn on a light. It's like you're shining. And I think that when you're out there doing things like that, where you're loving your moment, you're radiating. And I just think that that's when you'll find someone that will be attracted to you, and you might very well be attracted to them. And there again, like you said, Dr. Kat, it's so very important to meet someone that likes doing the things that you like doing. So if you get out there and do the things that you like doing, you're going to meet someone that likes to do those things too.
Another thing, just to add to that, is ladies, when you're going out and you're meeting people, try to do some things alone. Don't go in a pack. I always use lunch as a great opportunity. If you can get out for lunch from your job, Find places where the kind of man you want to meet or the kind of woman you want to meet, and go out for lunch by yourself and be approachable. It's a simple thing, but you would be surprised how many people go in packs. And so now you're not approachable because you're with a group of people and you're having conversations. And so there's not a window to where someone can walk over and say, hi, I noticed you would like to, hey, talk to you for a minute or whatever. Because you're gabbing and you're laughing and you're doing Instagram and you're taking selfies and, you're doing all this stuff. But there's no opportunity for someone to approach you. And another thing is, and be on the online dating thing, be a little bit evasive. Don't always check in everywhere you go. And people are watching that and they're saying, well, she's never alone. Or she's never at home. She's so busy. She's not going to have time for a relationship. And don't let people know where you are all the time. If there is someone wants to stalk you, they'll be able to find you. So just, don't be so available.
Oh, that's very true about being available. You don't want to appear that you're desperate or anything like that when you're starting to date, for sure.
I just think that we've gotten so caught up in the instantaneous feeling of being liked on Facebook and all of these social media platforms that we really have no clue how to deal with other people. People just have no interpersonal skills. They don't know how to talk to each other outside of a tweet. It's like, really? You need to know how to really communicate with someone outside of texting. And I think we've lost that skill. And I think it's all of these sites are very underrated when it comes to finding that connection with someone.
And I've seen people on dates using their telephones and going to the sites and checking in and reading emails and things like that. We're on a date. Don't do those things.
Oh my God. I've been now engaged and I've been in a relationship for 12 years and there was never any pressure to get married or anything like that. We have so much fun. We travel a lot and we have a wonderful life together. So, but we have made it a pact. We don't take our phones out unless we have to. If he has to get a call, he'll go, excuse me, and he'll go outside and he'll do the call. But a lot of times we don't even pay attention to our phones when we're on our date night. Our date night is our time to really connect. We don't have any kids and we work a lot and we don't give each other any excuses not to get our work done. But the thing is, when you're there and spending quality time together, you should pay attention to each other. Talk to each other and find out more of things you want to do. Reminisce about what you used to do together and plan trips or little romantic getaways. There's so much you can enjoy being together when you are really present with that person. When you're constantly on your phone and tweeting and Instagramming and taking pictures of your food. Jesus Christ.
I always think that's funny when I see all the pictures of the food and stuff.
I know.
I should do it when I'm burning something, because I burn food a lot. So I should say, look, this is Monday's burnt food. Oh, that's funny. Well, I was looking over some of your information and you're quite a writer. And so there's a lot of information that you have out there for people to be able to look at and to read and really take away a lot of really good information.
Yeah, and my blog is jam-packed with articles, and I'm coming out with two new books later this year. So yeah, I've got several books, and I have 69 tips to enrich intimacy. I've got a game, Intimate Foreplay. I've got a little coupon book, which is fun because you can leave little coupons for your lover for them to find, and it promised them little decadent little treats for them. So I call those intimatificates. I have programs. I have the ABCs of Intimacy programs. It's a workbook program. It has an audio program with it, or video program. And I have a Love Perspective, which helps people to really understand how they view love, sex, and romance. And so I have lots of stuff out there to help people. We just got to act on needing the help or seeking the help. Yeah, we can't a lot of people like their noise. They like their drama. They like what's going on in their life. They don't want to turn the television off or put the phone down. They want that noise and that chatter around them. When you're tired of all of that and you want to shut it all off and really deal with your garbage, I always say we don't want to dig through our garbage, and we don't want to put it out either. We want to keep it around, and we know what it smells like after it sits around too long. We want to hold on to that garbage. Put your garbage out to be taken away. Get some help. Whether it's talking to me or taking a program or going to church, whatever. Start dealing with your issues so that you can clear the path for true love to come into your life.
Absolutely. But now your website is Dr. Kat, K-A-T, Smith, SMITH.com.
Yes.
So there's a lot of information there that individuals can go to and get the book and the blog and all of that you have available. And I would highly recommend it. I think that what you have to offer individuals is really life-changing for sure.
Well, thank you so much.
And I appreciate you being on the show today. Now, tell us if you have just a couple other tips to be able to, someone's really, really stuck and they want to be able to move forward. Can you give them any other advice that to be able to really reflect upon their life?
Yeah, I would say I'm a list maker. I like making lists. I like to sit back and, you know how we've gotten into the gratitude journals or dream journals. I would say, there's nothing wrong with taking some time with pen and paper and just writing down all of the things you've loved in the relationships that you've had, all the things you didn't like in the relationships you've had, and just really think about those things, especially the ones that you didn't like. Why didn't you like it? It was because that particular person did it, or in general, you don't like certain behavior. And really just think about it and think about, okay, if you encounter that behavior, what would be your reaction? Is that a deal breaker, or is it something that you can say, you know what, I don't like it when people do that, so please don't do that again, and encourage them to outline things that they don't like in you at that particular time. Because you want to be fair in a relationship, you want to have a give and take, and you want to be able to intertwine all of your stuff with their stuff. We got to understand, you're weaving in religion, gender, race, age, sex, all of the tradition, family, ethnicity, life experience. You're trying to blend all of that into a life together. So you can't have any unspoken contracts. You got to have no expectations that are not talked about so that you understand what is expected or not expected or whatever, because we all have different lives. So it's better to talk about things and to really understand what you want and what you don't want in a relationship, so that if it comes up, you can say either, nope, hey, that's totally a deal breaker, I'm out of here. Or you can say, I really like you, but that is most annoying to me. Can you not do that? And most of the time they'll say, oh, and I didn't know. Sorry, I didn't even know I was doing that. And you can move on. And you both grow in that experience.
Great advice. Absolutely great advice. Now, you also do private. You will talk with someone privately.
Yes, I do in person. I do Skype. I do Uvu, which is where I can split the screen if the people are not together. And I do phone. And I can go to my clients to a meeting of their choice. I just make sure I verify and vet it before I show up somewhere that I'm not sure about. But yes, I have several options.
And so we can get all of this information right on your website here. And you have on your website, you have your telephone number, you have your email so that people can contact you.
Yes.
So if they just go to Dr. and it's DR and then Kat, KATSMITH.com.
Yes.
And it has all the information. There's a lot of information there. All the programs that you offer. You have a tremendous programs there that people can join and be able to get some very needed, I think, counseling there and some help there. So
yeah, and they can also see some of the the videos and things that I have been on with, like Huffington Post and Good Morning Text and all the different media formats that I've been on. So, I mean, they can get a really good understanding of my philosophies, how I work with people, and see what all the free information that I give on my site. So
right. And you have been on you've been on Good Morning America, Huffington Post, Alive, Good Morning Texas, Good Day Dallas, Fox 4 in Dallas, CW 33. So you've been on a lot of, and now you're on our station, which is absolutely terrific. We appreciate that. So Going Solo Network, we love that. So thank you so much for being on the show with us today.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, it's a lot of good advice, and we will definitely showcase you on the authors showcase that we have too. So I will make sure that I put all your information there, because I really do want individuals to go out there and get your book, which is ABC Intimacy. So I think it's very, very important book to read, especially when you're doing the transition of dating and starting to understand yourself, starting to understand others, partners. I think that's good information out there.
Well, thank you so much.
Wonderful. Well, anything you want to share before we sign off? Because it went very quickly today.
Well, I would suggest that free program, 30 Days of Intimacy, that if they go on drkatsmith.com, just scroll down halfway the page and you can click on that. And it's a free program. And for 30 days, you can get all the information. And if you want to discontinue being on the list, just disconnect. You shouldn't get anything after the 30 days. But yeah, it's a free program, and it's just jam-packed with so much information. I suggest they join the list and become, I call them intimates.
Well, you know what? I'll do it. I think it sounds wonderful. And anything that you can do to help yourself and possibly your partner, I'm all for it. So I think it's a great thing to do. We have to start with ourselves and just kind of work out. And I think that's a really good philosophy to have.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you so much for being on Going Solo with Cece, and also on our station, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. We will feature you on our authors showcase, so everyone can also get a little bit more information about your book. And then when you have your new books coming out, I hope that you will share that with us so that we can do a little segment on them and put them on the website also. I would love that.
Oh, awesome. Yes, sure will.
That sounds great. Well, thank you again for being on the show. And again, I really recommend ABC Intimacy, the book. You can probably get that through your website, and also probably Amazon.
Mm-hmm. Both sites.
And then also packed with information, programs. You've got a lot of freebie stuff there that people can get a hold of, but also the 30-day intimacy on drkatsmith.com. That's drkatsmith.com. So definitely go to her website, check her out. You know, she's real, and I love the show today. Thank you so much, Dr. Kat.
Thank you, Cece.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye for now. This is Cece with Going Solo. We're signing off, and I can't wait to be with you next time. Bye for now.
I'm getting stronger.